Hello, my name is Margaret St.Andre and welcome to my presentation entitled The Simple Changes to Support ESL Students and Families. I teach an American school district in South Korea. Our school is typical for the district, which services American Armed Service family members, families of civilian duty employees, and other affiliates. Approximately 20% of our student population speaks a language other than English at home, and among these languages, Korean is the most widely spoken. As a monolingual teacher and parent, I was very impressed with the ESL services and resources provided by the school. However, after interviewing some parents of Korean-speaking students who attend the school, I realized some adjustments need to be made. The following presentation is created to highlight these parent concerns. My hope is that my administration will see how these changes to current practices can be made to increase language proficiency for our ESL students. I was able to interview two parents of students who attend my school. Both students completed kindergarten this year, and both children speak Korean in the home. One student is a level 1 English speaker, while the other has a monitor-only status in the program. After a review of their parent answers, I identified what I saw as the overall problem, which is ESL students struggle to master academic as well as conversational English, even after intensive language programs. I believe that we can promote parent empowerment through two-way communication between the ESL and the parent, between the ESL teacher and the parent. And I also believe that para-educator training will increase English language and positive social situations in our school. We have many current resources. First, we have trained educators. 3 ESL teachers work collaboratively with grade levels so that 1 ESL teacher works with 2 grade levels. All classroom teachers have an ESL background, including differentiation and learning strategies. We have 2 host nation culture classes taught by native Korean speakers. One culture class is a everyday Korean culture, talking about introducing daily Korean life, holidays, school, and family living. And the second Korean culture class is a language class that introduces vocabulary, phrases, and Hangul, which is the Korean written language. The bilingual staff, we have 12 staff members who can translate, clarify, and educate staff, family, and teachers, including a nurse, 2 secretaries, classroom. We have many bilingual classroom teachers and other support staff. And among our best resource is our strong community. Many Korean and English-speaking families socialize together and therefore have contact outside of the school environment, giving students a chance to share their culture and practice each other's languages. Even with all of these resources, I was surprised to hear the disappointments of our ESL families. So here we go. We'll have to paraphrase, but this particular parent believed that we needed to expand and invest in our ESL programs. That was shocking. He felt that our unique school would be more prepared for kids whose home language is not English, and that he thinks the school would offer better ESL programs and host nation culture programs. And finally, he seems like the schools in the States have a much better program. This was very shocking to me and eye-opening. I realized that we really need to solve this problem, because what this parent sees is not what an administrator sees or would have observed. For instance, his particular child works directly with the ESL teacher on one-on-one and small group basis daily. The teacher and the paraprofessionals also work one-on-one for clarifications in the classroom. And I believe that better open communication between the parent, the ESL teacher, and the classroom teacher would decrease his frustrations. And he would see and he would be able to see the efforts put in so his child becomes a proficient English speaker. Another parent I interviewed had keen observations. When she comes to the school, she sees many Korean students only speaking Korean with their friends. I agree with her observation. In this past school year, I was a long-term paraprofessional. I observed that during recess, Korean-speaking students chose to play and speak Korean with their bilingual peers. Speaking English is exhausting, and lunch and recess are a time to relax and make your own choices. However, she is correct when she says, I know kids should learn Korean. I am proud that kids speak in their own language, but they are at school for learning how to speak English, and they need to have more chances to speak English. Social situations such as recess and lunch are when students have the most chance to speak. And if they are not choosing to speak English, then they will not become proficient English speakers. I feel that the center of our problem is communication. If we open up parent and ESL teacher communication, then we can avoid some frustrations that we saw through my interviewed parent. And I also believe that communications between the ESL teacher and the paraprofessionals may be able to increase English language spoken in social situations among students. First, we need to increase the communication between the ESL teacher and the parent. Both parents I interviewed said that they go to friends or other parents of the classroom when they don't understand something or are frustrated with the school. They did not note that they never go to the ESL teacher and rarely question the classroom teacher. This type of information from other parents is not always reliable, especially when you consider that these parents may not be going to they may be going to English monolingual speaking families who don't know about the ESL program. Instead, direct communication needs to open between the ESL teacher and the parent so that the parents have a full understanding of what their child's school day looks like. Oh, okay, here we go. That is not good. That's new on why that's not working. All right. Well, there we go. Okay. Well, I believe that the best way to open up these communications is through use of an application called Class Dojo, featured here, in which these avatars are assigned to students. And the ESL teachers are able to communicate what they're doing on a daily basis by providing a point system in which where parents can receive this information in real time on their application. Teachers are also able to add pictures, videos, and other classwork of their students that the parents can view and monitor the ESL curriculum, what their students have done, and the teachers and the parents are able to communicate directly with the ESL teacher through a social media-like communicator. And the very best part about this communicator is that the teacher and the parents can set their language translations, meaning that I don't need to be fluent in the Korean language in order to communicate with my parents. I need to type up what I have to say in English and then pick my translator, and the parent can do the same thing from Korean to English. It's not a perfect translation. However, it does get the conversation started. And finally, the ESL teachers can add the classroom teacher to the student communications for better collaboration. Two-way communication between parents will decrease parent frustrations. It will clarify the purpose of the ESL program and its curriculum to the parent, and they will show, most importantly, the hard work and dedication of the staff, which in turn will decrease parent frustrations. My second solution is the implementation of training for paraeducators. Paraeducators add to the education environment of the school and have increased impact on today's students. When paraeducators receive professional development opportunities, the entire student body benefits. Paraeducators can help in many ways. For instance, they are more involved with the students' social behaviors during recess duty, or even just observing while the teacher, during teacher instruction. Paras are able, when paras are well trained and collaborate with their lead teacher, they are able to give valuable feedback that can be used in formative assessment. Also, paraeducators tend to be hired from the community, meaning that a recess duty aide is most likely to be a parent of a student in the school. They often know other children personally and see their parents at the gym or the grocery store. Because of this, the child can relate to the para in a different way than the teacher, and the para is more likely to be familiar with the child's home culture. Paras are taking greater responsibilities in the school. A para's main responsibility is no longer to run copies, keep children safe, or display or create the design on the school display board. Instead, paraeducators are teaching in small groups, tutoring, and supporting academic needs. This increases the time a para spends with any given child, and it also increases their influence. Paras are able to focus on the whole child because they do not have the same administrative responsibilities and pressures as the classroom teachers. Lead teachers have to consider how their words and actions will affect a student's academic growth, while a para-professional is free to focus on how their words and actions affect the whole child. I believe that these three-tiered trainings can be provided by the current staff to increase a paraprofessional's effectiveness in the school setting. For instance, the ESL team can provide best practices for the classroom so that a paraprofessional can become familiar with strategies such as whole body movement, word mapping, and schema development. The para can then use these strategies in tutoring and other academic needs. Culture and community language skills can be taught by the host nation team. Things like Korean foods, cartoon characters, how children address adults, as well as basic phrases are lessons that will make a big difference to paraprofessionals and how they relate to our ESL students. Finally, the counselor can provide constructive social behavior trainings that will promote English language and development so that a paraprofessional can elicit English conversation between in peer groups between English and Korean speaking students and social behaviors. Thank you very much for your time in my presentation. Here are a review of my references, and I hope that this was an effective was very